Hi guys, it's Elizabeth and I am a nurse. So I have a couple months left of my studies, but I have been working in a hospital for like a year and a half or so and did like carers work before. So I've been doing nursing work for a couple years now, and there's quite a lot of stuff that I've learnt already in my time, and all the people that I've met, all the patients that I've had have told me a lot of different things, good and bad, and it's really made me look back at my life and sort of think like I really need to take some things seriously. So I have compiled a list of things that I have learnt while being a nurse, especially from a Christian perspective. So yeah, I would say one of the most important things that I've learnt since talking to patients and just hearing their stories is literally the fact that your life decisions are so important. I feel like some people sort of just go, oh, just do it, like, you know, risk it, don't want to regret it, blah, blah, blah. But I've met so many people who will be like, oh, I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that in my life. Or I've met people who are like, I made the best decision ever marrying him, or, you know, I'm so glad I had this many kids, or blah, blah, blah. I wish I could change this. I wish I could have done that. Or just a lot of stuff that people go back and either regret decisions that they make, or they're very, very happy about the decisions that they made. So to me, it's sort of like I should always weigh out whether something that I'm going to do is a good and beneficial thing to me, rather than just something that I might want, but it's not necessarily beneficial. And on that topic, I've had a lot of people say to me that they're glad they married whoever they married, and they're so glad they had a family and had this many kids and all that kind of thing. And it just really has stuck out to me how important marriage actually is. I feel like some people are sort of like, oh, you know, he's good enough. I always valued marriage and knew it was one of the biggest decisions ever. But since talking to so many patients, and also like patients who are angry and, you know, have had a really bad marriage and stuff like that, they wish they could have not had it, just makes me really, really want to make the right decision when it comes to marriage and really take it seriously, because it is the rest of my life. It affects your children and it affects generations and a whole bunch of people. So it really, truly is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Another thing I've learned since being in hospital is that so many people don't have hope. Like, it's really sad. People are just there and they feel sick and they have nothing to go back to. They have nothing to live for. Like, a lot of people will say, well, what am I living for anyways? And it's just like it makes me really sad, but it also makes me so grateful that I have Jesus to live for. Like, even when there is literally nothing else in the world to live for, there's always a reason to live, because Jesus. It doesn't matter how bad your life is and how sick you are and how many people you've lost. The reason why being alive is worth it is because Jesus. And at the end of this life, we see Jesus, and he is like the core reason for everything, the anchor of our whole life. And I feel like so many people don't have that. And like, you know, obviously I can't say anything, but it just makes me very sad that a lot of them don't have an anchor, don't even have family. And it's just, it makes me go back and think, okay, like, I do have a hope that some people don't have, and I'm very grateful that I have found that hope. Another thing I've learned since doing nursing is that there are so many beautiful people in the world, so many really mean people in the world too, but gorgeous patients. There are so many beautiful human beings. Like, they have not had an easy life, and yet they are so kind and gentle and sweet, and they say thank you. And then I look at myself and I'm like, okay, I call myself a Christian, I'm walking around this ward, I'm stressed, and I'm like, I'm finding it hard to smile because I feel like I'm so overloaded and overwhelmed. And then I'm like, so I don't know, I just feel like it's so easy for me to be so burnt out that I lose my compassion, and yet I'm talking to people who have gone through hell and are still kind to others. it's really encouraging to see a patient who's really sick and, you know, hasn't had the easiest time, obviously, and is in hospital. Nobody wants to be in hospital, and yet they're still so grateful for things, and they're still thankful for the help that they get in hospital. They're thankful for the nurses and stuff, and it not only like helps me with my shift, obviously, but it makes me sort of go home and think, like, why am I complaining? Because they're so kind and they're in one of the worst positions right now, and yet I'm walking and, you know, I'm healthy, I'm able to work and all this stuff, and yet I'm getting a bit grumpy, and it's just frustrating. It makes me realize, like, look at myself and realize, am I really living from like a Christian point of view? Like I say that I want to live like a Christian lifestyle, and I want to show that, but when things get tough, I feel like I just let the emotions get the better of me, and some people don't do that, and like I admire them really, because I wouldn't blame them if they were frustrated or angry, and yet they choose not to be, because they're in the most vulnerable state and yet they're still kind. And that is like a lesson to learn, you know, because when I'm in a vulnerable state, I don't know if I'm the kindest person, even if I want to be. So it's just a really important thing that I've learned since doing nursing, is to be kind anyways. The other thing I have learned is that you should enjoy life, but this comes back to point number 1, you should make wise decisions. And if those wise decisions means that you have to kind of not really enjoy life for a while, like you have to let go of somebody you're not meant to be talking to or be with or something like that, then so be it, because in the end you will be more grateful and you will be happier. So enjoy it, but don't do stupid things, and don't make stupid, irrational decisions just because you feel like you need it now. Like, make the sacrifices now so that you have a better life in the future, and so that your kids have a better life in the future. I think that's really important, because a lot of people these days, they want it, so they're going to go out and get it, and they won't make sacrifices that are hard now but will like help them in the future. And that's something that I've taken from nursing, is that it really, you know, obviously you enjoy your life and stuff as well, and do things that you love, but also sometimes sacrifice is needed at the current moment. And sadness, you know, you might be sad now, but in the future you will be grateful for your decision that you made. If that makes any sense. It totally makes sense in my head, but yeah. And the last thing I have learnt, which I don't seem to actually take on, except I've learnt it and I know it's important, is the fact that you must look after yourself physically and emotionally, no matter what. You have to. So they're like, oh, you're a nurse, oh, make sure you take care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't look after anybody else. They say that, but then nobody helps you take care of yourself, so I don't know how that works. But you have to take care of yourself, even if nobody else takes care of you. You just have to. Like, that's just how life works. In every way, like physically, like be kind to your body. Don't put it down all the time. I'm talking to myself. Treat it well, like be kind to it, give it good food, give it some exercise, give it rest. That's something we forget about all the time, or something I forget about all the time, is have a break, give it rest, take care of your physical body. And when you're surrounded by people who are sick and they can't move, and they're just like, their physical health is poor, so then they get drained emotionally as well because of that. It makes you sort of realize, oh yeah, like they're kind of linked. Like, if I don't take care of my physical health, then obviously my emotional health is gonna suffer. And if I don't take care of my emotional health, my physical health is gonna suffer. And that's just pretty obvious. When you're surrounded by sick people all the time, you see how much they suffer. And people in hospital do not have it easy. Like, people have really bad experiences. They're lonely, you know, the nurses can't do everything that they want to do for them because they're so run down, they're so busy. So it's like, it's really sad just to see how down people feel when they're in hospital. And it really makes me think, like, you have to take care of yourself, because you know, this stuff is just sad. So just take care of yourself. And if you're taking care of yourself physically, great. Take care of yourself emotionally too. Like, don't don't push that kind of stuff aside, which I do all the time. So I am talking to myself here, but it is a thing that I've learnt from nursing, is that not taking care of yourself causes pain. And taking care of yourself, you know, it might be like hard, but you kind of have to do it, because being sick in any way, shape or form is not fun. And if you can prevent that slightly, then you should try. And the final thing that I have learnt since doing nursing in the last few years is that, you know, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. That's okay. Everyone has their own religions and stuff. But for some weird reason, me doing nursing has kind of helped me in my relationship with God. It sort of made me realize that Jesus is real, for starters, and it's also made me have to rely on him all the time, because I'm around so much sadness that it makes me feel down. And, you know, I just feel like I'm always burnt out, and I'm always giving, but I'm never getting. So I always feel like empty, and Jesus is like the rock, you know, that I can lean on. Just being surrounded by so many sick people that can make you feel down. But anyways, and they are just a few things that I've learnt since being a nurse. And if anybody else is a nurse, I would love to talk to you, because you know how it goes. Once you meet a nurse, it's like, yes, we can talk, you know. So anyways, I hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.